So I'm sitting watching a video again from Tim Pool, one of the guys that I pay a little bit of attention to periodically, and he's talking about the idea of why a lot of people don't have meaningful lives. I thought it was important maybe to talk a bit about this idea because I think there may be even some things that Tim misses at this point in time that I want to bring forward and bring forth with regard to that. Hello and welcome to the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Saturday, the 27th of February of 2021. Welcome to everybody who's joining me on Rumble, on the podcast, and YouTube. The subject of today's little discussion is going to be a life of meaning. And I just wanted to sort of talk about some ideas. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, or sort of question, I guess you could say, is whether or not it's possible to have a life of meaning if all you really live for is yourself. The problem that a lot of people these days have is that that's really what they sort of do, is they live a life that's pretty much mostly for themselves, and they're not really doing much of anything for anybody or anything greater than that. And I really think that that's one of the biggest problems we have in society today. I think with a lot of young people, they decide that life is about living for themselves, and if they're lucky, maybe a few friends, and that's basically what they do. Now, the few friends actually adds a little more meaning to life all on its own that maybe wouldn't be there if you're living strictly for yourself, right? To be fair. But then you get into some interesting ideas like what really brings meaning to your life. Now, Mr. Poole asserts that in his life, he's found certain things that make him realize, that make him sort of assess his worth, like taking care of animals and things of that sort. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to say or a bad idea. I think there's something to that. I think when you have to look after other things, other animals, other things, property and other animals and so forth, you begin to suddenly understand where at least certain parts of your worth come from. Okay? But now let me add an additional wrinkle to that idea. Let me put an additional wrinkle into the mix. Let's talk about the idea of propagating the species. Let's talk about the idea of not just looking after other animals, but looking after children. This is one of the most meaningful pursuits in my mind any individual can be involved in. Okay, and it truly shows you your meaning, in my opinion. Now, I see that a lot of people, as they get older, that sort of drops off as they become less substantial or significant to their children in terms of whether or not they're needed, right? But even so, the point is you're bringing children into the world means that you are suddenly in a position where you may be life or death for another human being. Literally from the time they're born until the time that they're 5, you have to worry about that pretty much on a day-to-day basis. I have a niece who has said in past that she watches her child to make sure that she's breathing. Her child was extremely premature, so that's not all that surprising for that particular instance. But let me tell you something. I do that with my son. I do that same thing with my son. I watch him to see whether or not he's breathing. And it's less a thing as they get older. It becomes more sort of passing idea that they might pass on in their early days. And I consider it no small thing that I've brought 3 children past the age of 21 to this point in time, at least had some hand in doing that. Maybe not completely never completely by yourself. But the point is, I consider that no small thing. But the thing is, if you kind of look at what it means to have children, it really brings meaning to your life in a way that very few other things can. Okay? I had a note and I was trying to read it, and that's why I was a little bit slow there for a second while I got a little bit nebulous. And the note basically asked the question, can your work help you to achieve meaning? And the answer to that question is that's absolutely something that can be true. Whether it's vocation, avocation, however you look at it, right? Whether it's things that you do because somebody pays you for it, or things that you do because it's something you feel like you're supposed to do, or it's something that you enjoy doing that you think that you can do for others, or whatever it happens to be. Your work of various kinds can indeed affect your meaning in life. I have a brother who is a software developer, and he used to, and I don't know if he's still able to do this or not, go, and I don't remember if it was on Thanksgiving or the day before or what it was, but he used to go to one of the local homeless shelters, and he used to serve Thanksgiving dinner essentially to the homeless folks. And he never told anybody that, and I'm not telling you this in order to toot his little horn. I'm telling you this because in his life, that was a thing that added meaning. And I got to tell you something. I respect him tremendously for having spent the time to do that thing. It's a awesome thing. You may hear my boy in the background, right? And I spend a lot of my time right now raising my 8-year-old. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing. A lot of it is, living in the spaces, as I've said before. There he goes again. A lot of it is living in the spaces. But some of it is active, important stuff that he needs. And I have to be there for when that happens, whether it's to keep him from choking on something, keep him from hurting himself, or it's just talking to him about various things that he's dealing with. Whatever it happens to be, that's part of my life. That's part of what I have to do. So if you ask me what sort of things really bring meaning to life, in the top probably 3 are doing things for others in terms of work or just what you believe you ought to be doing, whether it's charity, whether it's ministry, whatever it happens to be. Raising children is probably number 1 in my personal opinion. And the third would be something like looking after critters and things of that sort, which the problem with that one is you can get caught up in doing something that really doesn't have any meaning past that it gives you joy. You enjoy doing it, right? But the thing that I'm trying to get at here is really pretty simple. There's very little meaning to be had in the idea of living for yourself. Almost all the meaning that you're going to get out of life is things that you do for other people, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's people you don't know, whether it's ministry, whether it's acting as a father or a husband or a wife or a mom or an aunt or whatever, whether it's working in a particular capacity so that people have things that they need in their lives, or it's things that are, like I say, where you go out and you hand out food or help people to have better times, or go visit shut-ins, or go to jail and visit the prisons and so forth. Whether it's any number of different things that you do for others. You could argue for animals, but I would say that the more important thing is what you do for others is really the thing, is really what I would consider to be the most important thing to give meaning. Like I say, you hear my son periodically making noise in the background. Let me just tell you something. It frustrates me a little bit because I'm trying to get my video out and I don't want him yelling in the background. But what's more important, me taking care of him and making sure that he's where he needs to be and so forth, and suffering through a little bit of noise, or getting my video out? I know the answer. I think that my videos are probably helpful to folks. I hope so. That's what I'm aiming for. That's why I do them. Again, I don't do them for fame. I don't do them for fortune. I'd love to have people see my videos. I'd love to have that happen. I'd love to have my videos go viral. But if they never do, that's okay. What's important is for you to realize that what will make your life meaningful is for you to do things for others. That's society in various of its forms. So whether it's family or friends or strangers, poor people, whatever it happens to be, these are the things that will make your life meaningful. And part of that might be looking after critters as well. Like I say, I can't answer for all of that. All of this having been said, these are the things that in my mind give life meaning. All right, I'm coming to the point where I really need to call it good here. Need to shut down for the day in terms of my video. I hope you're having a good day. I hope things are working well for you. The subject for tomorrow is going to be Pascal's wager. I'm going to talk about a little bit about what Dinesh D'Souza had to say about that, but really I have some other things that I think need to be added to that discussion, and I want to put them out there as well. All right. Again, today is Saturday, the 27th of February of 2021. Tomorrow then will be Sunday, the 28th of February of 2021. I hope you're having a good day. I hope your weekend is going well so far. Tomorrow will be that all-important beginning of the week. Obviously, the next day will be the beginning of the work week. I'm hoping to be able to get out another daily summation as usual tomorrow. As I say, it will should be on Pascal's Wager. If you're not familiar with it, you might do some research and find out what that's all about. In any case, yet again, I hope things are going well for you, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Saturday, the 27th of February of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.